Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome if you're new. Thank you for taking time out of your day to check the video out. We have more PlayStation news, rumors, and leaks to go over and cover today, and we're starting here with Ghost of Yotei. Yesterday, the pre-orders for all of the limited edition items went live. It seems as though people who were hoping to get the PS5 Pro covers were pretty upset because apparently they were gone within literally 1 to 2 minutes. But on top of that, Sony did release some new gameplay footage of Ghost of Yotei, this time showing off the Odachi, and it looks pretty cool. Again, it's just one of these things where they're going to continue to show off little bits of gameplay here and there, kind of give it a cinematic flair, I guess you could say. But I would say the more important stuff that we learned is that apparently review copies of Ghost of Yotei are out now, and we're finding out that the review embargo is actually going to lift on Thursday, September 25th at 9 a.m. ET and 6 a.m. PT. So if you're curious how this game is going to review, you're going to want to pay attention to that date. I'm personally curious to see what happens because I feel like Ghost of Tsushima reviewed a little bit lower than you would have expected. I think it's sitting at like an 83 on Metacritic, but it has a really high user score, and I think a lot of people felt like, it should have been a little bit higher up there on the Metacritic score scale. So we'll see what happens with Yotei. But at the same time, on September 25th, preloads for Ghost of Yotei are going to go live, and it's going to be about 85 gigabytes. So just keep that in mind. If this is a game you're looking forward to, you'll have plenty of time to preload it. And yeah, it's only going to take up, well, I say only 85 gigabytes is quite large, but we've certainly seen larger game files. We're going to move on to the next topic, though, which talks about 007 First Light and PS5 Pro Enhancements. Being reported by PlayStation Lifestyle, Sony has revealed an overview of 007 First Light PS5 Pro Enhancements. The promising new IO interactive game recently got its own PlayStation State of Play, which was very well received by fans. Although 007 First Light's PS Store page does not carry the PS5 Pro Enhanced tag, the PlayStation website has shared some of the enhancements. Here's what PS5 Pro players can expect. Optimized console performance. Enjoy the action of 007 First Light at 60 FPS in quality mode. Advanced ray tracing. Experience next-level realism with ray-traced reflections, shadows, and high-quality global illumination as you explore the stunning world of espionage. And PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution. Get super sharp image clarity on your 4K TV using AI-enhanced resolution for ultra-high definition play with astonishing detail. Sony just seems to be scratching the surface here. We expect more details from IO Interactive, like what the quality and performance modes will entail exactly in the near future. And it's also worth noting, since we just talked about Ghost of Yotei, people are wondering what PS5 Pro enhancements are going to be there for Yotei. And we did hear, I believe, last month, or maybe even the month prior, from Sucker Punch in an interview that they are going to be sharing PS5 Pro enhancements for Yotei as well. So there you go. 007 sounds like it's going to be, a game that's going to at least try to take full advantage of what the PS5 Pro is offering. So that's good stuff there. Moving to the next topic, we're talking about Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls coming from Push Square. They say Sony will not stop Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls from sharing their footage online when the beta goes live later this week. As we already reported, the platform holder has been sending out invites to the test, but previous communication mentioned that participants were prohibited from uploading footage online. This is a normal step for a proper beta. Some games tend to use these types of tests as a marketing beat, but the PS5 Fighter doesn't even have a release date yet. But in a new message uploaded to the game's official social media account, it notes that the team is happy with the current build being shared with the world. We appreciate you keeping your gameplay confidential up to this point as we work to integrate your feedback. We've now reached a point in Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls development where we'd love for you to share it with the world. We are happy to announce you are allowed to stream and share your gameplay. More invites are going out daily, so don't be too upset if you don't get access yet. There's still time, but yeah, a lot of people are waiting for that. And so just figured I would let you guys know about this because, to be honest, I wasn't even aware that people who were partaking in this weren't allowed to share footage. So I think this is good. I think a lot of people are very excited for this game, very interested in it, and they want to see, that gameplay. They want to hear what people who are playing this game have to say about it, and they want to see it for themselves. So good news there, I would say. Moving to the next topic, we're talking about Metal Gear Solid Delta, and it was just recently reported that this game did very well in Japan, maybe unsurprisingly physical anyway, and you would assume digital to an extent. But apparently Konami has announced that Metal Gear Solid Delta has sold 1 million copies within the first day of its launch, which is interesting because you have to wonder why they're waiting till now to share this. And you do have to wonder like how much that number has climbed since then. But, you know, people were really wondering, I think, if this game was going to flop or not. And obviously we know it has some performance issues. I think people are certainly frustrated that we're seeing a sales number celebrated before we hear anything about a new patch or update, especially for the PS5 Pro. It is very frustrating. But the whole thing here is if we want to see more done with Metal Gear Solid in this vein, like more remakes and, you know, Konami continuing to pursue it, we kind of have to pay attention to how this game is doing, right? If it's a major flop, they probably won't do any more. If it succeeds, they'll continue to do more. And so, you know, 1 million sales in the first day, I would say, is pretty good, you know, to the point where Konami's feeling like this is worth celebrating. And I think it's probably going to go on to sell at least a couple of million copies over time. And yeah, at this point, we're just kind of patiently waiting to hear an update from Konami about the you know, the big patch that you would assume they're going to bring out for this game. But there you go. If you were wondering if it was succeeding or if it was failing, it seems to be doing pretty well all around. Moving on from that, we're talking about Knight Silksong and how this game is officially out. So, you know, this is a game that people were losing their minds over. So if you're somebody who's playing it, let me know your thoughts on it. Like, is it living up to the hype? I mean, we rarely see a game with this much hype behind it. And we're going to go over a report here that proves that. But let me know if what you've played so far, if it's living up. So the first thing is yesterday, Knight Silksong, it went live and it basically took almost all of the storefronts down. It took down the Xbox store, it took down Steam, and then it also ended up taking down the PlayStation storefront as well. And I don't know if we've ever really seen something like that before, but I also saw that on Steam, it was peaking at over like 500,000 concurrent players, which is insane. So this game, like I said, was $20, which I think shocked people. They were certainly expecting it to be more expensive. But I mean, how often do we see a game that has so much hype and excitement surrounding it that when it releases, it actually takes down the storefronts? I can't help but wonder, you know, if Knight Silksong is doing this, what's going to happen when GTA 6 launches, right? I mean, we're looking at the storefronts being down for like 1 or 2 days straight or something like that. It's going to be nuts. But there you go. It's out now. And like I said, let me know what your experience has been with it so far. Moving on to the next topic, though, this is crazy to me. I just randomly stumbled upon this, and man, it just feels like one of the biggest fumbles ever. There's apparently a rumor coming from a reliable source that I've never heard of before, but they're claiming that Steven Spielberg apparently really wanted to direct a Call of Duty movie and even presented it to Activision, but Activision got spooked by Steven Spielberg wanting full control of production, marketing, the final cut, the economics, and Activision said no, they rejected it and went with Paramount instead. It's worth noting that Spielberg is famously a big gamer and loves Call of Duty in particular. This is insane, in my opinion. Like, this might be one of the biggest fumbles, if true, that I've ever seen with anything, because it's like, dude, Steven Spielberg is a legendary filmmaker. On top of that, and this, I actually wasn't aware of this, he's a big Call of Duty fan. He played every game. It's like, what are you doing? How do you say no to, I'm sorry, this is crazy to me. This is crazy to me, dude. It's so insane that we could have had a Steven Spielberg directed Call of Duty movie. You know, that thing would have went on to win like an Oscar or something. And Activision's just like, nah, we're going to go with Paramount. Okay, I just wanted to take a moment to let you guys know about that, because we recently got the news that, yeah, a Call of Duty movie's happening with Paramount. But you know, what could have been, right? But we're going to move on to the final topic of the video here, which talks about some sales. This is being reported by WCCF Tech. They say now that it's been a little over a week since both Gears of War launched on PS5 and Helldivers on Xbox, game analyst Reese Elliott of Alinea Analytics has posted an overview of how each release has performed so far. Unsurprisingly, Helldivers 2 turned out to be a lot more popular on Xbox than Gears of War Reloaded on PlayStation 5. According to the data gathered by the analytics firm, the remaster of the first title in the Gears of War series only sold 259,000 units on PS5, whereas Arrowhead's sci-fi cooperative game, basically, I think they say here it sold 926,000 units, so very close to 1 million. Helldivers 2 even outsold itself on the PlayStation 5 back when it launched on Sony's console. The game sold around 633 units within the first 6 days on PS5. And I think that's the part that's really shocking people. This place we're getting this information from, Millennia Analytics, they've proven to be pretty accurate in the past. When you look at the trajectory of Helldivers 2, it's interesting how it really kind of grew over time. I think it did well, like right out of the gate on PS5 and PC, but the charts show like a steady incline, like each passing week and each passing month. And I think it did peak at some point, but it's clear that Helldivers 2 is like one of these games where word of mouth really helped it out, and I think was like the biggest thing that helped push it to the heights that it ended up, getting to and achieving. And so by the time it makes its way to Xbox, it's not too shocking to, to see that it's going to have some level of like notoriety behind it, right? It's going to be, I would say, in the midst of the hype. So really interesting data here. And yeah, I mean, there you go. You have Xbox players showing up and apparently buying almost 1 million units of Helldivers 2. I'm sure Sony's pretty happy about that overall. And I'm sure Microsoft is happy about that as well. And so it'll be interesting to see if we get some specific sales numbers from either Sony or Microsoft regarding this, because again, this is coming from an analytics firm, but this analytics firm seems to be pretty accurate, or at least they have been up till this point. So there you go. Guys, that's going to do it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it informative. If you did, be sure to leave it a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, hit the bell notification icon, and feel free to share this video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.